ag bill. The miscellaneous ag bill does not have a bill number because it's going to be a committee bill, but it hits the floor, it'll be assigned a number. But that, just in case you're wondering, that's why. And we've got one last change that we discussed yesterday that we want to just go over, and Mike's here to walk us through that.
So this is Mike O'Grady with Legislative Counsel. You may recall that the miscellaneous ag bill, House miscellaneous ag bill, redefines nursery dealer to mean any person who sells, installs, or distributes nursery stock for commercial gain. And you wanted to clarify what the term installs means. And so that definition was added on line 10 of page 18. Means the placing, fixing, or planting of nursery stock in the ground or soil. It does not mean delivery of nursery stock to a purchaser or the placing of potted nursery stock within a structure or its curtilage of the purchaser. But yesterday, Representative Rice asked the question, well, if it's not going to be, delivery is not installing, could it still be distribution? So working with Representative Rice, I came up with the definition of what distribute means. It means the wholesale sale of nursery stock, the transfer of title or possession of nursery stock from one person to another for consideration for the purpose of resale at retail, or the transfer of nursery stock within a business entity for the purpose of retail sales. So generally the distribution of the stock in the state for the purpose of getting it to the place where it will be sold at retail. But it does not mean the retail sale or delivery of nursery stock by a retailer to a consumer. So I don't think delivery that is accepted from the definition of install would be considered distribution. So I think you have met your intent for what a nursery dealer who sells, installs, or distributes for commercial gain would mean.
Okay, so I apologize. I'm the one that started this whole ruckus and Mike got pulled into it. But just some clarity, if this is the root of where the concern came from, somebody that buys anything from a nursery, like goes and plants it for somebody else, for a customer, do they have to be licensed under this existing law?
That yes, I think that if they are planting, installing, and I think that's what the agency wanted.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they are for consideration.
Yep.
So if it's your neighbor, no. But I think that's what the agency wanted.
Okay.
Like a professional gardener.
Like a professional landscaper that's going to, a wholesale nursery, buying and then planting.
But if you're just at home, say I want to plant an apple tree in my yard.
Right. You're the end consumer. You get delivery from the person you purchased from. That's not installation. It's not even distribution.
Okay. So I can buy an apple tree at a nursery, plant it in my yard.
Yeah.
And I don't have to jump.
You can buy an apple tree at the nursery, have the nursery deliver it to you, put it on your patio, and that is fine.
Okay.
You're not subject to anything at that point.
But what if I put it in the ground?
You're not subject to anything either.
Representative Lipsky.
And also, you could hire someone with a rusty pickup truck like me, say, Jed, I'll give you $20 if you deliver that to me. Pick it up at the nursery. I'm just delivering it for you because
I agree.
that's
And you don't have to be licensed in that
Correct.
case. Okay.
Could you, in that scenario, say, Jed, can you just dig the hole and put it in the ground for me? Or does that become installed?
and it dies a week later.
It's not placing, fixing, or planting the nursery stock. You're just digging a hole. But I think that's circumvention. And I think that the agency has circumvention enforcement authority. And if it was a problem, I think they would either enforce or they'd come to you and ask for clarity.
I guess I asked for that clarity because I believe Representative Pearl's starting this endeavor was, intention was sort of not to burden Jed up the street who might dig 5 holes a year for his neighbors who call him and say, hey, I can't dig the hole this deep for the apple tree. Can you come do that? Not to burden that person with having to be licensed.
But the digging of the hole, I don't think.
And planting of the tree.
Right. Well, I planted a lot of trees because I used to be a landscaper, and if you dig the hole that's suitable, you can just roll that tree in there if you're the homeowner.
My concern was that Joe Schmo that mows 6 lawns, the little old lady down the street, he mows her lawn and she says, oh, I really want a tree in my yard. And says, hey, can you go grab an apple tree at Jimmy's Market and bring it here and plant it for me? And if he does that.
And he does not get paid, he's not subject to this.
But if he gets paid.
If he gets paid,
then he needs to be licensed. Okay.
Yeah,
If he gets paid to buy the tree or if he gets paid to plant the hole?
To install.
Got it.
And this is one of those areas where it's like.
There's one way you can do. It would probably require a greater change to statute by saying that they're in the business of installing, right? And so you look at it's not just the occasional, what they call the occasional sale.
Yeah.
It's their business.
Interesting.
But that would be difficult to do.
I would have to look at how to do it. Well, actually, no, I think in the definition of nursery dealer means any person who is the business of selling, installing, or distributing nursery stock for commercial gain. I think that gets it what you want.
Okay. So there is a level of protection there already.
Right, and say if you're in the business of selling, installing, or distributing, then the agency has discretion to say that occasional sale or the occasional hole digging does not require a license.
Sorry, where does it say that?
You would have to go to the definition of nursery dealer, which is on page 17.
Yeah, but where I'm reading it, it says any person who sells.
Right, no, you would have to add.
That's where, and that would be a simple thing.
You would have to add in the business, any person who is in the business of selling, installing, or distributing.
Go back down a little bit to nursery.
Right, so it would say means any person who is in the business of selling, installing, or distributing nursery stock for commercial gain.
Okay, I could sign up of the idea that I would like that change if everybody else is in agreement.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, good clarity. Let's keep Joe Schmo protected.
Thanks.
Great job, Jed Schmo.
John, you're next when you're ready.
No, Mike, you also have to be a nursery dealer based in Vermont, right? So, I mean, nurseries often buy from national nurseries and resell apple trees or peonies or whatever, right? So.
If you're selling into the state, the agency can require you to get a license as well.
They can, okay.
Yeah.
So we could, I think with that minimal change, go ahead and, the way we did yesterday, vote to amend the No, we don't need, since this is a committee bill, we only need one vote, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we could then take a vote on the next draft of this.
Is that draft 2.6? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I'll make it 2.6.
Okay,
Do we say pending approval of the chair?
that's the way we handled it yesterday, and we can,
I'm comfortable with that.
Should I sit in chair and show your faces?
sure, yeah, I think everybody, yeah, we can take down the draft there. And then I would entertain a motion to approve draft 2.6 of this miscellaneous housekeeping bill with changes we just discussed to be made and by the chair, by me.
So moved.
Representative Brown, second. Representative O'Brien.
We'll
Call the
follow the roll. Representative Esme Cole,
Yes.
Representative Rodney Graham,
Yes.
Representative Josie Levitt,
Yes.
Representative Jed Lipsky,
Yes,
Representative John O'Brien,
Yes.
Representative Henry Pearl, yes. Representative Mike Rice,
Yes.
Representative Heather Supernaut,
Yes.
Representative David Templeman,
Yes.
Representative Charles Wilson, Representative David Durfee.
Yes.
And the vote is 10-0-1.
Okay. Good, thank you. So, Mike, is that a small enough change that we'll get it in today?
Yeah, I'll go do it right now. And so Representative Pearl, you're the reporter.
Yep.
So once it's assigned, I have the section by section already done. Once it's assigned, its bill number, I'll send you the section by section.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, and it's going to appropriations. Because the first section of the bill is the capital, is the funding program for ag fairs and field days. Even though it doesn't have the specific appropriation in it, it's still probably gonna go there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So that means
Buy me some
you get the weekend to work on your report.
Really perfect that.
does it make the crossover date?
Yes, yeah, so the way that, well,
Wouldn't matter anyway.
It's a committee bill.
it's a committee bill, yeah, so it doesn't, thank you, doesn't need to. And the appropriations has an extra week. If it were not a committee bill, appropriations has until next week to move out everything that they're working on, which must be quite a
Massive.
lengthening list, yeah. Thank you, Henry, and yeah, you can talk to Mike about with any questions you have, getting that ready. Good, all right, so we're, I guess at 4:00, I think are we still expecting David? Yeah, just so then, and then we're gonna talk about, he's gonna walk us through H81. Just go back to 126 for a minute, because we were talking about that. Ellen came in, which was convenient. We were able to ask her legal questions. To sort of go back, this morning after we heard from witnesses who had come in with some proposed language, I asked some of the other people who have testified whether they could take a look at it. It turned out they had already been having conversations. So ideally, in a situation like this, we can see if there's common ground out there between the two different sides. That's the best way to actually get an amendment passed. If that's the goal, that's what we're going to try and do. So I don't know. It's getting late in the day today. Probably nothing's going to happen today, but we'll see where we are tomorrow. And feel free to ask on your own, the folks who have been in the room, if you run into them, have those conversations.
I just have a clarifying question, and maybe it's not.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. I'm just, from what the discussion we just had with Ellen, the inventory is going to be of all conserved land, but the objective is laid out that the 30 by 30 and 50 by 50 is of only conserved land within the 3 buckets she described. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's correct for the I think that reflects what she said.
Okay.
With the caveat that in the plan portion, there is the opportunity to make adjustments or additions to those categories
Okay.
and insert them into that 30% goal. So it's sort of like,
Okay.
right now, these are the 3 categories. We want to reach 30% conserved within these 3 categories. But after the inventory portion and into the planning portion, there's an opportunity to adjust or add to those 3 categories.
Okay.
That's defined.
Okay.
And maybe this is a question for Mike but in this context, how we're using conserved land, it's only permanently conserved land, and it doesn't include the 200 million acres of UVA land because it's not permanently conserved. It's
Yeah.
functionally conserved or temporarily conserved.
Yeah, so the definition of conserved, just reading from the bill, the definition of conserved means permanently, for the purpose of this bill, means permanently protected and meeting the definition of ecological reserve area, biodiversity conservation area, natural resource management area as defined in the section.
And there is overlap there as far as some of the permanently conserved is enrolled in UVA.
Right,
Yeah.
but
Like your farm.
Right.
And I think it's 2 million, not 200 million.
Yeah, 2.5 million.
thank you.
Yeah.
You know, my.
I would not have known that until a couple months ago when we started hearing about that.
Right, yeah. My dyslexia is
Yeah,
add 0.
decimal points, pesky.
It's a big miss
Um,
at 2.1.
So why don't we stop that meeting and if we can all stay seated or get up until we have David, but since it is late, we probably should try and start as soon as he's here. Is he in the waiting room?
No,
No,
I think he's gonna come.